Picture this: a massive diplomatic fallout between two powerhouse nations, sparking unprecedented travel disruptions that could reshape economies and relationships. It's a story of canceled dreams, heated words, and the high stakes of international politics. Read on to uncover how tensions over Taiwan are turning travel plans upside down, amid escalating diplomatic friction between China and Japan. Estimates suggest that Chinese travelers have scrapped around 500,000 scheduled flights headed to Japan. This wave of cancellations comes in the wake of reports about halted visa processing and suspended cultural exchanges, all tied to an ongoing dispute centered on Japan's position regarding Taiwan, a self-governing island that China claims as its own territory. For beginners diving into geopolitics, think of Taiwan as a flashpoint where historical claims, democratic governance, and global alliances collide, much like a contentious family inheritance that's been argued over for generations. The uproar intensified after Japan's Prime Minister, Sanae Takaichi, made remarks indicating her nation might intervene militarily if China attempted to invade Taiwan. These statements drew sharp backlash from Beijing, which swiftly issued advisories cautioning Chinese citizens and students against journeys to Japan. To put this in perspective, imagine if a neighbor declared they might step in during a family feud. It's not just talk. It escalates things to a whole new level. In response to mounting pressure from business sectors, Japan dispatched a high-ranking diplomat to China to de-escalate the situation. Meanwhile, at least 7 Chinese airlines, including the country's major state-owned carriers, have stepped up by providing complimentary cancellations for booked trips to Japan. Flight data analyzed by travel expert Hanming Li points to the cancellation of approximately 500,000 flights between November 15 and 17. Reports from Chinese media outlet Jimu News highlight specific examples. Sichuan Airlines axed all routes from Chengdu to Sapporo until late March, while budget airline Spring Airlines called off several Japan-bound flights, both citing internal strategic decisions. China ranks as Japan's second-largest tourist source, with its visitors fueling much of the tourism industry. Additionally, Chinese students, numbering around 120,000 last year, constitute the majority of Japan's international student body. This disruption hit hard, causing shares in Japanese retail and travel firms to tumble on Monday. Li described this to The Guardian as the biggest collective flight cancellation since the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic, though he noted it wouldn't significantly dent China's aviation sector overall. The Sino-Japan route is relatively minor compared to the vast domestic and global markets, he explained, likening it to a small ripple in a vast ocean rather than a tidal wave. These travel halts are just one piece of a broader arsenal of economic retaliations following what was initially a mostly verbal standoff. A representative from a Chinese travel agency revealed they've paused handling individual visa requests for Japan trips, and various local Japan-China cultural initiatives have been scrapped. But here's where it gets controversial. Is this economic retaliation a smart strategic move, or is it risking unnecessary escalation? Film distributors have indefinitely delayed showings of at least 2 Japanese movies in China, and state media reports claim that ticket sales for the already released Japanese anime hit Demon Slayer, Infinity Castle, have nosedived lately. CCTV attributed this shift to widespread discontent among Chinese viewers toward Takaichi's comments, sparking debates about how pop culture becomes a battleground in international disputes. Japanese business leaders, feeling the pinch, convened with Takaichi on Monday, pleading for her to ease the tensions. Economic interactions thrive on political stability, emphasized Yoshinobu Tsutsui, head of Japan's premier business association, Keidanren, highlighting how intertwined trade and diplomacy really are. On the same day, Tokyo sent a senior foreign ministry official, Masaki Kanai, to Beijing for talks with his counterpart, Liu Jinsong. Despite this, Takaichi stands firm on her words, the main point of contention from China. While Japan's government insists its Taiwan policy remains unaltered, she framed a potential Chinese assault on Taiwan as an existential danger to Japan, justifying a self-defense response under international norms. For context, Japan's post-World War II constitution generally bars the use of military force in resolving global conflicts, making this stance a pivotal point. And this is the part most people miss. How could Japan's involvement in a Taiwan scenario draw in the U.S.? The U.S., Taiwan's primary supporter against China's unification efforts, isn't legally bound to defend the island and often avoids confirming commitments. Yet, the U.S.-Japan Security Pact obliges mutual defense if either is attacked within Japanese territory. In essence, any Japanese military action in a Taiwan clash would likely pull America into the fray, turning a regional issue into a global confrontation. Chinese state media has inundated its platforms, including Japanese and English-language outlets and social networks, with coverage, stoking online nationalism and outrage. Japan, in turn, has issued safety alerts to its nationals in China, advising them to steer clear of large crowds and to be mindful of local customs and interactions. With over 100,000 Japanese residents in China as of 2023, according to the Foreign Ministry, these precautions are no small matter. Japan's Chief Cabinet Secretary, Minoru Kihara, stated on Tuesday that the guidance, including tips like avoiding solitary travel or extra vigilance with kids, stems from rising anti-Japanese sentiment in Chinese media. Our decisions factor in the overall security landscape, political climate, and societal conditions, Kihara elaborated. Similarly, Japan's Beijing embassy has urged citizens to stay alert, recommending group travel and heightened caution in public spaces. What do you think? Is economic boycotting an effective tool in diplomacy, or does it just fan the flames of division? And could Japan's Taiwan policy be a bold stand for democracy or a reckless gamble inviting war? Share your views in the comments. Do you agree with China's backlash, or is there a counterpoint we haven't considered? Let's discuss. Additional reporting by Lillian Yang.